The book is called Tales of a First Round Nothing, subtitle My Life as an NHL Footnote. Terry Ryan was drafted 8th overall by the Montreal Canadiens, wound up playing exactly that many games, I think, in the National Hockey League.
Am I on here?
Yeah.
Okay, I can't hear anything out of the headphones, guys.
You don't even need them.
Oh, perfect.
It's just us.
And listen, yes, that's true. And Mr. is it Mr. McGowan? Or
no, it's Bob is fine.
Okay, Bob, I'm wearing shades because I really look up to you. If anybody's to read this book, they'll realize that I look up to the media, certain members of the media, you being one of them, and, of course, Stevie over there, as much as I do hockey players.
With some exceptions, I'd like to say.
There's
one notable exception in that book. We'll talk about that later.
There is. I thought that might get me in hot water. I'm surprised no one's phoned me on it yet, but I want to be, I'm going to write a volume 2. And it's going to be this. I tied together with, listen to me rambling, boom, boom, boom. I tied together with themes that I thought represented the game and some friends that really that stood out to me and helped shape my identity. So volume 2, I'd like to say I wore my shades on the show with the man. And, by the way, you're one of the only people that can pull it off. I like to wear my shades indoors, but everybody says, look at that cool guy over there. This is going to be my platform. This is why I'm doing
Just
it.
Blame me. That's okay.
That's it. I'm going to blame you.
Did I get any credit in this book at all?
That's what Bob always looks at first, by the way. He always looks at the back to see if his name's in it.
And if I'm not in it, I'm not reading it.
It's unbelievable your name's on it.
Yeah, well, there you go. I think you're in the last paragraph, so read up to there and we'll see.
Volume 2, hopefully.
Volume 2, exactly, hopefully. I'm trying to get to 5,000 copies. I think that's a Canadian bestseller. I don't know where it is, and that might be very over the top and presumptuous, Stephen, but that's my goal because I like doing this. I almost write out of, I get a lot, I talk a lot if you can't tell. I get anxiety, and it's therapeutic, and that's the reason a lot of this was written.
Okay, you got to take the shades off now so people can see your beautiful.
He can wear the shades.
No, because it's only so I can't deal with 2 guys wearing shades in this room.
Look
at this handsome man.
Brown-eyed handsome man, like Chuck Berry said, or Buddy Holly. One of them came first.
All right.
You got to tell the. Okay, well, I told you.
Here we
gotta show the people on television your beautiful teeth.
Oh.
Okay. No. You don't have to take them out because I want you to tell the teeth story that's in the books. The best story. I'd say. We'll talk about Red Fisher later, but the teeth story is really good.
Sure, I'll tell the and thank you for rolling drum roll. And I thought this may get me in hot water at some point, but whatever. It's a book of my experiences, and I felt some things had to be said, whether people liked it or not. But is it okay? Roll the story. All right, it's cool. So it was about 2001. And I'd been playing, with Montreal. I was always, there was a bit of tension there, although I have great memories. I had a problem with 1 or 2 people in the organization back in the day, but I look past that now. I feel honored to have played for the Habs. But at that time, I was poisoned with them. So we were at a ball hockey tournament in Montreal, my team from Newfoundland. And Newfoundland is decent at ball hockey. We have a chance at the Nationals. There's not many sports. Growing up, I played hockey, soccer, and baseball, and we were the sacrificial lamb. You go, you play the host first game. Host wins 10-1. Newfoundland, everybody loves our spirit, but, you lose. But in ball hockey, fast pitch, curling now, it's coming on. We had a chance. So we went to that, and I lost my teeth. It was touch icing in ball hockey at the time. So I went to dive for the ball and icing, and it bounced right in front of my head, and the guy took my teeth out. So they were half cracked. It looked like Jim Carrey from Dumb and Dumber. So it was either I was going down to Dallas camp the next day. I'd just been released by the Habs. It was a really tricky situation. Whatever it was, they owned my rights and I got whatever release to go down there. I remember talking to Mr. Bob Gainey, one of my idols, and I was going there the next day. So the boys from Newfoundland, we go on a road trip. We always go out and have a few beers, get a good buzz on before and I knew I wasn't going to see them for a while. Hopefully not for a year. So, or at the end of the hockey season. So I opted to go out and drink through a straw instead of getting my teeth looked at that night. So, and it seemed sensible. So I get down to Dallas.
At the time.
Yeah, at the time. And, so I was drinking. It really hurt. Like my nerves were exposed. So I was wearing a mouth guard, orange one. Looked like I was sucking on a banana or an orange peel all night. Get down to Dallas. And I'm like, okay, hook me up, doc. And I'm completely forgetting because in Montreal, you just walk in and get your teeth done. So he's like, yeah, I guess, but that'll be, $6 or $7 grand. And I was like, yeah, of course I'm not going to get it done. I got to wait to sign a contract first. And I had a good camp. I ended up hurting my ankle. Long story short, I think I possibly would have signed. I was given that indication. And I hurt my ankle, high ankle sprain. So they're double affiliate. And Don Hay, who's coached against me in junior, he was coaching in Utah. So I really, really thought that, that kind of upset me a lot. I was disappointed. But I wanted to go to Boise, their double affiliate, and say, I can come up and make this squad. So, and get back in the. I didn't think a high ankle sprain was as bad as it was. You're taught to play through an injury. Ended up being the downfall. I had to retire because of it. That's here nor there. So I was down in Boise. I'll go to the doctor. This is about 2 months later because I went home to get my stuff. I went back down a little bit early. Finally, so I'm wearing a mouth guard a lot of the time. If not, I just got my mouth guard out, got a couple of painkillers in me, and I looked like Jim Carrey, Dumb and Dumber, like I said. So I went in, I told the doc down there, and he says, well, you just told me the story. You lost him in ball hockey in the summer. We can't pay for that. So now I'm really pissed off because, the paychecks down there, although I love playing pro hockey and it was good to get, but I think I was making $1,000 a week, which is great, but it's certainly not going to pay for my teeth. So, and, my signing bonus was either gone in divorce or wherever, but, whatever. It translated into I got a place on the ocean, my wife Danielle and my beautiful kids, Tyson and Penny Lane. We love it. But that's kind of, there's no gravy left from the NHL. People think you play one game, you get $1 billion. So, I needed the money. So anyway, I told the boys my plan. I said, I'm going to knock them out myself and just act like I did it in a game. So they're thinking, this is not going to happen. So I waited 3 weeks after I told the doc this because to make it look believable. And the boys were back we went back to the condos. The way it works down there is, it's great. I actually made more money there than the AHL because they take care of your room and board, your groceries, all that stuff, right? So we all lived in a complex, little pool, hot tub in the middle. It was great. So, but we went back and we were drinking one night, and I said, now's the time. I had about 6 beers in me. So I said, boys, just get, and one of the guys had a kid and he had a little Nerf hammer. So I said, I'll just chip my teeth out. And it was way, way, way harder than I thought. I didn't realize how far up your teeth went. So each time I'd hit myself, I tried to chip them out. It wasn't even close. Like I was rocking my whole cranium. So finally I said, that's it. Stewie, go get Bobby Stewart. Lives here now. Great dude. Scored the winner for Maine in '99 when they won the national championship in Anaheim. So I took the sledgehammer. I said, I'm going to knock him out myself, closed my eyes, half loaded, and went boom. And I let up at the last minute because I was kind of scared. And see the scar I got here?
That was that.
So I could put my tongue right through my lip at this point. I said, I got to go all the way. There's blood everywhere. So boom. I knocked the whole row. I knocked 4 teeth out of my head. This one was the only one that resonated. This one, I got them all fixed except for this one. Actually, I lost this a few years later. So I had 4 of my teeth now are in the sink, and 2 of them were just chipped to begin with. So now I got to come up with a great story.
I just want to make sure people understand that you just hit yourself in the face with a sledgehammer.
With a sledgehammer, yes.
Okay, just to clarify.
Just
to
clarify.
Yeah, okay.
Now I'm looking, and the boys at this point, they thought it was a little over the top. There was laughter, but there was some T-Bone, you're crazy. So I said, now what am I going to do? So I wear those really tight, I'm old school, I wear those Cooperall shell whatever deals. So they're tight, almost light pants. So when I went in early to the rink the next day, now I had a fresh wound on my face, so I had to get this by and say I did it in practice. So I'm talking to Kip Dribnak, I think his name was, the trainer, and the dentist, I think, was the doctor, or, whoever we got for next to nothing, who was the most inexpensive guy in town, I guess. No offense, wherever you are. But he, so anyway, I went in, I was talking to him. So they're around the corner. I'm like, hey, Kip, what's going on? How's the wife and kids? They're going to remember talking to me, and they're probably going to think they saw me, but, which they did, but I never let anybody see it. The boys knew. And to their credit, they never really said much about it ever. So I put my 4 teeth in my girdle, and, they just stayed there because it's right. And I went on the ice, and Stewie knew the plan, so I slipped on a puck. Actually, Stewie shot a puck. I said, shoot it up around my ears when I'm going around the net, and I'll just act like I was trying to get out of the way. And he did. One of those where I could hear it go by. I think he tried to hit me in the head. But anyway.
So you deliberately go ass over tea kettle.
Deliberately go down, and as soon as I go, and there's only about 3 players on the ice. They're filing on, so no one was there to see it. The coaches or anything. I didn't want even them to have to judge on that. So I just ripped my gums, which was a fresh wound. I start bleeding all over the place, and I threw the teeth across the ice. And I went right off, and the doc says, man, you got bad luck. I can't believe it. So anyway, long story short, actually, no, that was a long story long. I got them all paid for, $6,500 US. I got my chiclets all paid for. And, you know, I don't know if there is a moral to this story. I don't know if there is. But it was certainly one of my more memorable experiences. And I'm glad, like I said, I wrote this stuff down because it ended up being, you know, a great memory that came out of nothing, really.
Thank God for the statute of limitations in America. You know, they can't come after you now.
Thank God. Well, exactly. And if they ever did, I'd just say, well, I exaggerated. So there, I told you my plan.
So what happened to your career, in your own words? Like,
well, you know, I got that so much. I was getting that question a lot. That's kind of the reason I put the book. I always look at it from a real positive mindset. I came from Newfoundland. I was 14. I was rated, if not the top player, one of the top players in Canada. I was about 6 foot, 180, 190. I mean, I played junior that year. My first year Bantam, I played junior in Quesnel, BC. But Tri-City offered me to go out, and they guaranteed me they'd draft me.
Mm-hmm.
But I had to live out there. So my dad and mom moved out with me, and I was an only child. So, and I was speaking like I was from the Bay in Newfoundland. If you think I got a bit of an accent now, you should have heard me then. In the middle of BC, there's no internet. There's not, you know what I mean, at the time. So people really, I felt really alone. And, you know, and I guess that'll come out, but that's not really answering your question, but it's leading to it. So, you know, that's kind of why. And my dad played in the WHA. Dad played in Hamilton, actually, for the Red Wings, had 47 snipes one year. And but that's what he always said, you know, you got to write this stuff down. So I was rated real high going out there. I never fought or anything like that. I was a skilled player, you know, I was in Pee Wee, the MVP of the Quebec Pee Wee tournament, stuff like that. And then, you know, I went to Tri-Cities, and a modest year my first year, 30 points, Lankau ended up being my line mate, had 40. And my coach asked me maybe to play left wing. And, you know, I was used to, by this point, it was my third year junior. I really had a one-up. I thank my dad for that. Because he knew, I mean, I would have just stayed home and played for the high school team. There really wasn't many. I still didn't think, even though I was rated high, the NHL was ever a possibility. So just that's the way the mindset was in Newfoundland then. We were a bit, we felt inferior. You know, now it's definitely changed. And I'd like to take a bit of credit for that, myself and Cleary and, you know, guys like that, because I think we started the ball rolling. And now there's all kinds of guys. Nathan Knoll, Clark Bishop right now are playing on Team Canada under 18. So anyway, I ended up being, you know, I was a second-line centerman. Lanks was a better pivot than I was. So I went left wing, and I'm a pretty good fighter. And in the Western League at the time, you know, if you think of the good players coming out of the West, it was myself and Ryan Smith, Damon Lankau, you know, Shane Doan, Jerome McGinley, Sheldon Surrey, Zdeno Chara, Brian McCabe. There wasn't a whole lot of finesse there. So, you know, everything went my way. It was a fastball down the middle. If the draft was now, who knows if I'd go that high. But anyway, I went to the Habs, and they were my favorite team always were. And, you know, I really felt it a privilege to play for the team, and I still do. Good people. But in between, I had a major league concussion when I was 19. And I don't talk about it much in the book because it was a real bad memory, and I'd like to ignore it. But and it was a hit. I never got anything from fighting, ever. And I fought the toughest guys around, and I took all their punches. That's the way my fights were. You know, Domi I fought him 3 times. I at least took 50 haymakers in the melon. Nothing. I found when I would get hit, at least after the first one, my head would rock. And just think, you know, in today's game is a lot different. The more it gets. Back then, you know, I noticed, but the boards would move. It was plexiglass. There was a red line, you know, which is huge. You know, for slowing the game down a little bit, which is again veering off topic. But these are some observations I had. So I had that injury, and I think it set me back a bit. And, you know, Serge Savard and Jacques Demers drafted me. And then when Houle, and nothing against them, Réjean Houle came in, and Alan Vigneault. And, you know, Houle did call me one summer, and he offered me great money to play in Quebec. But that was their minor league team after Fredericton. My contract was done. All they got to do was give me a 10% raise, I think, how it worked. And so he offered me to be their property, but told me I'd be in Quebec all year. And I just wanted to get traded.
You weren't ready for that.
I would have taken less. I was publicly said I would take less to play somewhere else. I'd take the league minimum for a year because I was confident, at least in my determination. I would have practiced every day. I would have done what it took to make it. So, and I didn't think 8 games was enough. I mean, you know, look at guys, Chad Kilger, I don't know, Jason Weimer. These guys didn't end up being projected how they would play. They were in 5th and 8th overall, I think. But, you know, you get a chance. So I didn't feel I was getting a good enough chance. Remember, in my first year in the American League, I had 21 goals in 34 fights. I mean, what else do you want me to do? And the team wasn't making the playoffs. So but I understand now. I understand the way I chose not to go to camp, Bob. Like, it was the most ridiculous decision I ever made. But my agent was Mike Barnett, and he agreed. And at the time, in the minors, we had me and Darcy Tucker and Craig Conroy and Brad Brown and Thomas Vokoun and did I say Valerie Bure, Matt Higgins, Aaron Asham, Gordy Dwyer. It's like we were all down there, and as soon as everybody else left, they went right to the show. And I was kind of sitting there, and I said, I want my chance too. You know, I don't want 125 or 50 to play in the minors. And I took 50 Canadian to go to St. John's. That's no joke. And play. Bill Waters said he had a trade worked out for me, and it just became button heads. Me and Reggie Houle just got stubborn with each other. And now I haven't talked to him since. In my mind, that's totally water under the bridge. I know where they were coming from. And he said, you know, I didn't draft you, and I probably wouldn't have. You know, so I'm going to go with my own guys. And that's honest. And the only thing is I wanted that trade, and I wish I had gotten it because guys like
to get
Tucker,
the chance.
Yes, Tucker played like Aaron Asham. And, you know, look at the stats. Up until that point, it's not like I went and bombed out in the AHL. It's not. Whenever I went somewhere and got a chance, my style certainly doesn't look fancy, and I'm sure that if they looked at me practicing against those guys, I probably wouldn't have looked the greatest. But you know, that was my style. I looked up to Rick Tocchet and guys like that. That's the way I played, and they weren't looking for that then. And in Darcy Tucker's case, Tampa Bay were. In Aaron Asham's case, New Jersey were. That's my sob story. I don't talk to him about it much because, you know, I really respect the Habs. I understand where they were coming from. I was a hothead as a kid. I thought I should get more of a chance. But the way I look back at it now, a couple of years I tripped over my bottom lip. But what are you going to do, man? I played for the Habs. That was my goal. Like you said in your book, which I loved, by the way, I think of the 100 greatest hockey arguments. You know, it's 1 in 33,000 or something kids plays pro. You know, I mean, I could have got.
You were one of them.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and I got four of my BJ Young, you know, a great buddy, and that's my stepson now, Tyson, is BJ's kid. BJ died in a car accident in 2005. Played one game for Detroit. He had 50 goals in the Western League, 58, you know, in 1 year. He's a Red Deer Rebels, you know, gold. He's got the record for one season scoring. So, you know, there could be a whole lot worse. I'm sure that his family, which is my family now, I guess, you know, wouldn't care if he played a career in Detroit. They'd just like to have BJ around. That's the way I look at it. Yeah. There's been a lot of ups and downs in my life and my career or whatever. And I look back now, man, I'm still playing senior hockey. And for those, I'm playing in Dundas, the Allen Cup. For those who don't know, it's in Dundas this week. We're in the semifinal tomorrow. And what a great brand of hockey. I got to plug that because I played for the Clarenville Caribous. We won the National the Allen Cup 3 years ago. And we hope we do this year. But if we don't, it'll be a great team. You know, Jay McKee's playing for Dundas with Barnaby played. He's not playing in this tournament. Jason Ward, my old roommate, he's playing.
Oh, yeah.
Randy Rowe, Ryan Christie. There's a great tournament.
Guys who still want to play.
It's the passion. Yeah, Darren Langdon plays for Cornerbrook at home still, and he's 43 or 44. It's guys who want to play. What you're seeing when you watch senior hockey is the passion, and the money's not really there. I mean, we do get paid something, but it's peanuts. You know, we could all make more money doing something else, but we ride the bus every week. We have a 6-team league in Newfoundland, and we get there, and it's no different. And in fact, you know, it's almost more fun because the pressure's not there from the point of view of trying to get up anywhere. You're playing for the boys, and you know, and your community, and I'm proud of that.
Tales of a First Round Nothing, My Life as an NHL Footnote by Terry Ryan. It's available at bookstores all across the country, around the world, and up your street, and
it's lots of fun.
And he's threatening to write another one.
I certainly am.
So beware. Great to see you. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it, guys.
You can come back anytime you want.
Perfect.